Hello everyone and welcome to Sweetest Monster. Warning! This story contains artistic depictions of sexual conduct. All characters in the story are over the age of 18. Any similarities to real people living or dead are coincidental. Well, that's, foreboding. Ah, yes. What do we got here? Sweetest Monster. There we go. Gonna go ahead and new game because, haven't played this before, but we're gonna find out. I remember when Great Aunt Clarice was still alive. She had a black cat named Belle. It was great. It was the best black cat. Now, that isn't strictly true. Great Aunt Clarice didn't just have one cat over her long life. She had several. Maybe it's because she never had any children. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. And diagnosing somebody after their death seems rather callous to me. Great Aunt Clarice always loved cats. After the death of Great Uncle Albert, however, she began to dote on them more and more. She would sit them on her lap and talk to them. She looked at them so intensely, you would have thought she was waiting for a reply. It was kind of sad now that I think about it. I didn't find it sad when I was little, though. I thought it was scary. I never liked going to see Great Aunt Clarice. She would sit in her armchair, bent, double, back hunched, like the Epiphanes, a bell ringer from Victor Hugo's famous novel, stroking her cats with her withered, ropey hands. They were very ropey. I guess she was your archetypical crazy cat lady. At her lowest point, she had 6 of the things, shedding hair around the house and dragging dead birds across the welcome mat in the kitchen. It was terrible. I don't remember how much about her cats. I mean, they're just cats. You've seen one cat, you've seen them all, right? But Belle was different. I remember Belle. Ah, look at that black cat. It's got a little bow on its tail. Belle was a black cat, proud and stately. Her eyes greener than anything I'd ever seen before. She disliked people in general and would hiss and spit whenever unwanted fingers strayed too near to her glossy coat. She hissed at me, at Mother, at Father, and she definitely hissed at Great Aunt Clarice. When she was truly enraged, Belle would even try to scratch us, a little fuck. I can still remember how it felt when Belle's claws raked across the back of my hand. I can still remember the ugly red welt she caused. That's when he found out he was a masochist and he loved it. She drew blood on more than one occasion. Mother and Father were upset, but Great Aunt Clarice would simply tutted and said, "Well, what can you do? It's a cat, they scratch you." My parents, as may be expected, were not very happy about this laissez-faire response. As a result, they stopped visiting her for several weeks. Several whole weeks. They couldn't hold out any longer. Oh, well, for long, though. My mother probably felt guilty for storming out of her house like that, even though the welfare of her only son was at stake. My God, these cats could have murdered me. But not really. I mean, I'm still alive and kicking, which is more than can be said for Great Aunt Clarice. Belle's violent assaults, a very violent cat, didn't leave any lasting scars, unfortunately. Not physically. Mentally, however, I'm screwed up by this cat. This cat, I have PTSD of cats now. I'm also doing fine, though. Actually, forget what I just said. I did become a primary school teacher, so you might think otherwise. It's those undertones, the laden Freudian things, deep in the psyche. But those scratches were hardly the worst things Belle did to me. I remember I was playing with a model aeroplane. It wasn't anything special. Wow, a little bit of a Freudian speaking of, but certainly not electronic. All I could do was throw it, like a glorified frisbee, but more of like not really a frisbee. But I enjoyed it all the time. I was running through Great Aunt Clarice's overgrown jungle of a back garden, all uncut grass that reached past the ankles in old dead apple trees, that hadn't given any apples for years and years. Are they even apple trees at this point? When I noticed it. Great Aunt Clarice's garden is rather big. Was big, I should say, because the garden doesn't belong to her anymore. It had apple trees, like I said, but it also had a vegetable garden, a disused pen where Great Uncle Albert used to keep chickens, and a lake, a rather large lake lined with willow trees, like something from a picture book. Like the lake in the beginning of Alice in Wonderland. Maybe I was channeling Alice myself that day, though I didn't tumble into Wonderland searching for white rabbits. Instead, I quite foolishly, looking back on it, fell head first into the lake whilst trying to save the life of a black cat. I heard a yowl and a loud splash, and I turned my plane, forgotten. It landed on the ground, and a bounce a couple of few times, but I hardly noticed. I was too busy staring out at the lake, staring at Belle. The old saying states cats have 9 lives, but I wasn't naive enough to believe that even at the age of 6, I had already been to Great Uncle Albert's funeral, so I knew that when people died, they stayed in the ground and didn't get back up. Belle did not have 9 lives. She only had 1 life, and it was precious. Belle had scratched me only a few months prior, and I didn't particularly like her, but I didn't want her to drown. That was why I decided to rescue her. I meant well, but, as it soon transpired, this was an incredibly stupid idea for several reasons. For one thing, I could not swim. For another, Belle could. Also, cats tend to scratch you. I can't really remember what happened after that. This is where my memory goes foggy. All I have to rely on is hearsay from my parents and reports from doctors. They told me I almost drowned. I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel or anything, or if I did, I don't remember it. But there is something I do remember from that ordeal, splashing helplessly in the icy cold lake in Aunt Clarice's garden. I remember watching, slowly drowning, as Belle pulled herself out of the lake right before my eyes and winked. It was all a clever ploy by Belle to murder me, the one and only heir to the mansion, so that she could forever reign supreme, rendering my rescue attempt null and void. Now, I am just guessing, but I could imagine the last thought I had right before I swallowed a mouthful of fetid water and lost consciousness was, "You really are an idiot." More than 30 years later, I still don't think I've changed all that much. Just ask my wife, Sally. She thinks I'm an asshole. Oh, man, May 11th? It's a fucking Tuesday. You know what that means. Oh, who's this? Sally doesn't like Arabella Waite, and I can't say I blame her. I don't think I like Arabella Waite all that much either. That being the case, it's strange Sally seems to be laboring under the entirely misguided apprehension that I might be having an affair with her. God damn it, Sally! Why are you always so kind to that awful woman, Robin? I can't stand her! Shut up, Karen! The two of us are sitting together in the living room, the curtains drawn, the TV buzzing in the background like a particularly lackadaisical swarm of bees. I'm not sure what we're supposed to be watching because I haven't been paying all that much attention. I think it's some kind of crime drama. That would explain the stiff, lifeless corpse of a teenage girl sprawled out across the TV screen, her hair wringing wet. Crime dramas have a strange fixation with dead girls, particularly drowned dead girls. Maybe they think it's edgy. Maybe they think it's sexy. The pre-paraphilias sure seem to think so, given her unhealthy obsession with porophilia. I can't really comment on the sexiness, otherwise, of this dead girl. She reminds me too much of Mellie. Oh, good old Mellie. I remember when she drowned. I know you can't stand her, Sally, but her money is worth just as much as anyone else's. Every little counts on all that, you know. Don't regurgitate advertising jingles to me, Robin. Even if they're catchy. Even so, I don't think Sally watching the TV Either she's glaring at the wall, squeezing a cushion so tightly it would scream if it could. Why did she have to come and pick Anita up so early? She knows her piano lessons don't finish until 6:30. Maybe she's lonely. So she's decided to invade our home and invade herself in our coffee? Well, I guess I was the one who invited her in for coffee, but I didn't really have a choice. You could have told her to leave. I couldn't, Sal. Not when she'd come all this way. I'd have felt bad. So you'd feel bad about inconveniencing Arabella sodding Waite, but you don't have any sympathy for me. I had to listen to her banging our son, and on the wall, on her divorce for about half an hour. I felt like I was going mad. Ouch, I'm really sorry about that, Sally Pally. I try to give Sally a sympathetic look, but I'm not sure how much of an effect it's having. Probably none. Sally isn't even looking at me. She's too busy seething. If you really were sorry, you wouldn't have dumped her on me like that. I'm a translator, not a professional entertainer. I know. I'm sorry about that, Sal. I really am. I didn't know what to do. I could hardly cut Anita's piano lesson short because her mother turned up too fucking early. I bet she did it on purpose. It's because you're always so nice to her, Robin. You're too soft. I don't like the way Sally says nice. It sounds accusatory, like she's trying to frame me for a crime I haven't committed. Fucking bitch. Is it true that Arabella Waite is fairly attractive as far as single mothers go? But she is also unarguably Arabella Waite, which is some reason a bad thing. Arabella Waite's daughter, Anita, is a student at the school I worked at. She has been having piano lessons with me for 2 years. My relationship with the charming Madam Waite, however, is strictly one of business. I can hardly ever talk to her. Well, Arabella Waite tries to talk to me. I go along with it because what's more polite than ignoring her? Sally would prefer, but I don't try to encourage conversation. Why would I? If I'm being brutally honest, I think Arabella Waite is something of a snob, and she's boring with it. I don't even know why she gave her daughter such a fancy French name. Arabella Waite doesn't have a single French bone in her fucking body. Though, Arabella Waite's getting divorced. She's been in the proceedings for getting divorced for like more than several months now. I feel sorrier for Arabella than for her. Oh, Anita, sorry. I think Anita is some kind of 9-year-old girl who's been forced to grow up, like far, far too quickly. She's less of a daughter to a mother than a constant live-in counselor. No wonder she's always so quiet during her piano lessons. I have to be nice to her, Sal. She's a paying customer, and she's going through a tough time. I know she's going through a tough time. I know all about that, Robin, because she's been telling me in detail. She told me more than I would like to know. She told me about her ex-husband's 12-inch penis, Robin. Well, alright. You didn't... Okay. Sally sniffs. If the way she looks at you is anything to go by, I have nothing as to why her last husband packed his bags. You're being a tad judgmental, don't you think? I'm not being judgmental, alright? I'm just saying it like it is. She's always been far too friendly with you. Perhaps it's like, it's not like I return her feelings. You know, whatever they might be, I just want to help out. You know, Anita's been passing her grade 4 piano exam and stuff. And that's why you went out for coffee with Arabella last week, is it? Because you wanted to help Anita? Is that why you have her sit on your lap? I sigh heavily. So we're back to this again, are we? I thought we'd exhausted this topic last night. We certainly went over it enough times. I hate the woman, alright? It's ridiculous to keep the fit club Sally goes to. I swear, they don't even try to lose weight. From what I've gathered, they've been up every Monday solely so they can gossip. Miss Harris is the worst. I knew I was in hot water the moment I saw her enter Costa last Saturday, trying to console a crying Arabella Waite over my cappuccino. I already told you, Sal, I didn't want to go for a coffee with her. We just bumped into each other, and she suggested it, that's all.
But you didn't need to agree with her.
No, I didn't, but I think, she needed somebody to talk to. The divorce must be pretty hard. She started crying, Sal.
And I guess she needed a strong, handsome, already married, let me add, knight to sweep her off her feet.
Come off it. What was I supposed to do? My heart isn't made of steel.
But what about me, Robin? How do you think that made me feel?
I wasn't thinking about you at the time, to be quite honest. I was more concerned about Arabella Waite smearing her mascara all over my dick, which definitely was not waterproof. No matter what kind she said. Down the front of my shirt, too.
So you're telling me she gave you a hug?
Well, yeah, with her mouth. Shit, I didn't mean to let that one slip. I'm such a smooth talker. Well, I think, she might have hugged me first. And I wasn't like, a hug, not really. She was just trying to hide a face, like I said. She was crying so much her makeup had started to run. Being hugged by her was like being embraced by a depressed clown. It was an interesting experience, but not one I'm keen to relive anytime soon.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe it! First you invite her out for coffee, and now you're telling me you've been letting her cry into your chest out in public.
Why did she need to emphasize the out in public part? Isn't that the better than embracing her in private? I don't understand women. Look, Sal, I know it sounds kind of bad, but it really wasn't like that. I'm not interested in her. Really, I'm not, even if she does wear all those low-cut shirts.
That isn't the part that upsets me the most, though, Robin. That's not the real issue here.
Damn, Sally sounds mad enough as it is, and this isn't the real issue? I dread to think what that might be.
I'm disappointed in you. You said you were going to go out with me and Mellie last Saturday. You promised.
Of course, Mellie. I knew I was forgetting something. It's a good thing that something is only my daughter. Oh, I don't even have a son. Never mind. I have a daughter, right, of course. How silly of me. Look, I know what I said, and I really did mean it. I just got distracted, that's all.
Too busy trying to console poor Arabella, were we?
That isn't it, Sally. I didn't know what to do.
It wasn't only last week either. You've been promising Mellie you'll have a day out with her for almost a month, and you still haven't. Just what is so pressing that you can't put one measly day aside for your daughter?
I know it's shoddy behavior. I'm really sorry. I've been very busy.
Busy? How busy can you be? You're a music teacher in a primary school. It's hardly rocket science. It's not science at all. It's not even a proper subject.
Oh, now, Sally's done it. I love her and all. I kind of have to, since, she's kind of my wife. But I'm tired of hearing this shit about my job every day. All day, every day, it's the same shit. Even Arabella Bleeding White got on my case about it last Saturday in Costa, in between her tears.
Oh, I envy Robin. Working at a primary school and doing music too. It must be so relaxing. Making a living out of something you're so passionate about. Toiling away in an office all these years has really started to grind me down. I guess you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Yeah, right. Because trying to stop a class of 5-year-olds hitting each other over the head with their recorders is so much fucking fun. I'm living the goddamn fucking dream here, folks. For your information, Sally, music is a proper subject, you stupid cunt, and my job is a proper job. It's more of a proper job than yours. At least I actually leave the house. Sally stares at me, her face a pale death mask. Oh great, I fucked up now.
What was that, Robin? What did you just say?
I've gotten too far, but shit, I can't back down. Might as well double down. It's too fucking late for that. In for a penny, in for a pound, am I right? I said my job is more proper than yours. Unlike you, Can't sit on my backside all day with the TV on in the background, Sally.
How fucking dare you say that to me? Just because I work from home, it doesn't mean my job is any less real than yours. Besides, music is nothing more than a hobby. It's not important. It's in the grand scheme of things.
Music is necessary, no matter what you say. Being able to play an instrument is an important life skill, Sally.
And that's why you stopped trying to teach Mellie, is it? Because it's such an important life skill?
I stopped for Mellie's sake. She hated it. I don't think the piano's for her. And I have other students to teach, so...
So you'll teach them but not Mellie, not our daughter. I wonder why. I'm sure money has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.
Sally, come on now.
Don't you Sally me. You're in the wrong and you know it. That's why you've gone quiet. It's because you know you've done wrong and you should feel guilty about it.
Sally looks at me with undiagnosed disgust. She might as well be examining a cockroach. I feel just as unwelcome.
I'm going to sleep. Don't even think about coming into my bedroom tonight. I don't want to see your face.
My bedroom? What's with that possessive? I did pay for half the house. Nice selective memory there, Sal. With that, Sally storms up the stairs, her messy bun bouncing.